Note to Urxa Sasselberg. In our world today, truth often finds itself under siege. Powerful voices can twist narratives, turning good works into supposed crimes. This is a dangerous path. When organizations dedicated to helping others are attacked with baseless lies, the very fabric of our communities is threatened. This is not just a political game, it is a moral crisis. The battle against such falsehoods is a fight for the soul of our society. It requires us to stand firmly for what is right, to protect the vulnerable, and to ensure that the work of compassion can continue without fear or intimidation. The integrity of our shared life depends on our collective willingness to defend the truth. This very crisis unfolded in early 2025. Powerful figures, including Michael Flynn and Elon Musk, launched a stunning and unfounded attack. They used the vast reach of social media to label Lutheran Services, a respected faith-based organization, a money laundering operation. These accusations were amplified without a shred of evidence. Lutheran Services of America, ranked by Forbes as one of the nation's top charities, suddenly found its century-long mission of service under fire. This was a calculated assault, using the language of crime to undermine a ministry rooted in the Christian call to welcome the stranger and care for those in need. It was a clear case of bearing false witness on a national scale. The allegations were patently false, a fact easily verified. Lutheran Services in Iowa, like its parent organization, has a long and transparent history of service. It operates under strict government oversight as a key partner in the Federal Refugee Resettlement Program, a role formalized since the Refugee Act of 1980. The organization has consistently passed all financial audits, demonstrating its commitment to accountability. The claim of it being a Lutheran crime syndicate was so absurd that it was almost laughable, yet the damage it caused was immediate and severe. The lie was designed not to be believed by the informed, but to sow doubt and chaos among the public. The consequences of these digital falsehoods were not confined to the realm of social media debate. They had a swift and devastating real-world impact. On January 24, 2025, acting on the pretext of these allegations, the United States Department of State ordered a halt to all refugee resettlement services. Federal funding was frozen. For Lutheran Services in Iowa, this meant that promised reimbursements for expenses already incurred, money spent on housing, food, and essential support for newly arrived families, were suddenly withheld. Over $1.5 million in funds, vital for the continuation of their work, was jeopardized, pushing the organization into a state of financial uncertainty. This bureaucratic decision translated into immediate human suffering. Across its sites in Des Moines, Sioux City, and Waterloo, LSI was serving 191 refugees who had just begun to rebuild their lives. Among them were 108 children, some of whom had arrived in America as unaccompanied minors, seeking safety and a new beginning. These families, having already fled persecution and war, were thrown into a new state of chaos. The support systems they depended on for everything, from navigating schools to accessing healthcare, were suddenly at risk. The political slander had created a new crisis for the very people who had the least capacity to endure it. The stories of these individuals are a stark reminder of what is at stake. Imagine being a family that has finally reached a place of safety after years of living in a refugee camp. You are promised support for your first 90 days to help you find your footing. Then, without warning, that promise is broken because of a political lie you cannot even comprehend. This was the reality for those 191 people. In the face of such a coordinated attack, silence was not an option. The response from church leaders was swift, unified, and unequivocal. On February 6, 2025, 3 Evangelical Lutheran Church in America bishops in Iowa issued a powerful joint statement. They denounced the money laundering allegations as complete lies and ridiculous. Bishop Amy Current of the Southeastern Iowa Synod went further, directly confronting the accusers by invoking the biblical commandment, accusing them of bearing false witness against your neighbor. This was not a timid defense. It was a bold, moral stand, framing the issue not in political terms, but as a fundamental violation of religious and ethical principles. The political arena also became a battleground for the truth. The initial response from some state leaders was deeply disappointing. Governor Kim Reynolds, herself a Lutheran, initially equivocated when questioned by Congress, refusing to defend the church's integrity. This hesitation caused shock and dismay. However, the outcry from her constituents and faith leaders was immense. Spurred by this pressure, State Senator Sarah Trone Garriott, an ELKA minister, took decisive action. She introduced legislation to provide $2.5 million in state aid for the affected agencies, and co-authored an open letter demanding that the governor show moral courage and defend the organizations. This political pressure was crucial in shifting the narrative. Eventually, the weight of the community's response forced a change. Governor Reynolds, facing mounting criticism, publicly reversed her position. On February 10th, she stated clearly, "I absolutely do not think that Lutheran Services is a money-laundering organization," praising their valuable work with refugees. While some saw her reversal as politically motivated, it was nonetheless a victory for the truth. It demonstrated that a united community voice can hold leaders accountable and compel them to stand on the side of justice. It was a testament to the power of persistent collective action in the face of political cowardice. Perhaps the most creative and spirited response came from the broader community. The Des Moines-based t-shirt company Raygun, known for its witty social commentary, released a shirt that brilliantly turned the slander on its head. It proudly proclaimed the wearer as a member of the Lutheran Crime Syndicate, a diabolical group strengthening communities. This satirical gesture became a symbol of defiance, embraced by Lutherans and their supporters across the state. The saga of the Lutheran Crime Syndicate offers a profound lesson for our times. Unity and integrity are the ultimate antidotes to fear and falsehood. When the church and its allies came together, they formed an unbreakable front. The joint statement from the bishops, the legislative action from principled politicians, and the rallying cries from ordinary citizens created a chorus that was too loud to ignore. This unity was not based on shared political affiliation, but on a shared commitment to fundamental values: truth, compassion, and justice. It showed that when people of goodwill stand together, they can successfully push back against even the most powerful peddlers of misinformation. This episode underscores the critical importance of speaking out against injustice, no matter how intimidating the source. It would have been easy for church leaders or local officials to remain silent, fearing retribution from powerful figures like Musk or angering a polarized public. Yet they chose the more difficult path of courage. They named the lie for what it was and defended the innocent. This moral clarity is essential. In an age of rampant disinformation, silence is complicity. Every person who shared the truth, who bought a t-shirt, or who contacted their representative played a part in this victory. They refused to let a lie stand unchallenged. As we move forward, we must all be prepared to be defenders of truth. This is not a task reserved for bishops or politicians. It is a responsibility for every one of us. When we see charitable organizations being slandered, when we see the vulnerable being used as political pawns, we must use our voices. We can do this by supporting the work of these organizations, sharing accurate information, and demanding accountability from our leaders. We must choose to amplify the stories of compassion and service, drowning out the noise of cynicism and hate. Our engagement is the lifeblood of a healthy and just society. Let this story be an inspiration. Do not be a bystander when truth is under attack. Support the good work happening in your community. Champion the organizations that care for the poor, welcome the stranger and heal the sick. In the face of lies, speak truth. In the face of fear, show courage. And in the face of division, build unity. By doing so, we not only defend worthy institutions like Lutheran Services, but we also strengthen the moral foundation of our nation. Rise and shine. Sasselberg.